Smoggy Balboa says 2/3 of the earth are covered in water. The rest is covered by Aidan Morris. Welcome back to 20 minutes of Boro Chat. Coming up this week, 30 years of the Riverside celebration, and the biggest celebration going at the moment is winning 4 in a row. Boro sit top of the championship table going into the international break. We're talking about Hackney, Morris and greedy old Bergsørlin. Again, we're talking about derbies as well, and we don't yet have a third kit, but we are talking, of course, about the brilliance of the start to the season. And we're doing all of that with our amazing panel here. Jonathan, Craig and Sarah are back with us, and thank you being back with us as well. We massively appreciate it. We are growing a little community over here. If you're just finding us, massive shout out to people who commented last week. The life of Riley saying Hackney's our biggest player. If we sell him now, that shows we've got no ambition. Jamie Poole, thanks for all the shout outs there, who said the worst away kit was the yellow 15-16 season. Looks like bananas. And thanks to Jatix for the shout out as well this week. We're building a lovely little community. Come and join us. Press the subscribe button here. Right, let's Jonathan, what age were you when Boro last won 4 in a row?
Well, yeah, what was that? Was it 94? Was that the last time? Was that the one? So, I'm going to give you age. Yeah. Crikey, yeah, it's good, isn't it? Can't complain at all. 4 in a row, top of the league. Bloody hell.
And you say I can't complain. I actually can't find any negatives. I usually find one from a couple of Boro fans, but no, we can't find any this week. Let's start off with the most significant news then this week. Then Rob Edwards. Tom says, "What a guy! Proper likable, isn't he? Hope the lads keep giving their all for him. Great start for everyone. 30 years of Riverside celebrations, Sarah, and what a way to mark it. With a manager that everybody so far is getting behind."
I mean, he just can't put a foot wrong at the minute. He's doing everything right. There was a lot of people not happy that he was the choice. I think it's fair to say, and he did start a bit rocky in the sense of some fans thought it was a bit fake, and the whole trend, media personality, and all these kind of things. But actually, it's sitting well, and he's talking well, and we're getting information out of him, and everybody's loving it. I mean, the detail we get from him is quite something. So yeah, I think he couldn't have started any better.
Yeah, atmosphere, of course, around the Riverside, Craig, is growing as well. There've been lots more singing. Everyone just feels happy again. I can't remember a time even as a neutral where Boro fans have been this happy.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've had some highs and lows. Well, quite a few of them over the past few years, and I think we had a few under Carrick. To be fair, I mean, he's getting a bit bashed, isn't he? Because Edwards has had a great start, but we can't forget some of the football that was played under him. I mean, the Riverside was rocking under Carrick as well in certain times. But I think we just have to keep riding it. Yeah, loving it.
Absolutely. Daniel says, I was a 12-year-old season ticket holder the last time we won the first 4 games in a row. My moods are dictated entirely by Boro results, and all week I dreamed of Saturday. Nothing has changed, which is probably not good in some ways, but bloody hell, I love this club. Yeah. Is it all going to come crashing to a halt at some point, Jonathan? Are we just enjoying this crest of a wave even as you as a Boro fan, thinking, well, this is all going to end sour at some point?
I don't know about that. We keep passing all the tests. I talked a couple of weeks ago, didn't I? I said, we've won a game to 0. We've won a game despite conceding. Now we've beaten Sheffield, who, they've been rubbish. And, we've got Preston test. They've beaten Ipswich and Leicester. So, there's some big games coming up. And I liked Edwards. He said, we're 4 games in. We've got another 42 to play. So there's a lot of football still to be played. So they're keeping their feet firmly on the ground. But you've got to enjoy it while you've got it. And by heck, we're enjoying our 4 wins on the trot. So, yeah, I'm well happy, I have to say. And long may it continue. And what I like as well is that, we talked last season about not being adaptable and being soft and conceding goals. And guess what? We're adaptable. We change. He makes changes at half time. And we've conceded 1 goal in 4 games. So, that's what the fans were crying for last season. And that's what they've got this season. So, well happy.
Brilliant. Let's look at some players then, shall we? Okay, it's getting a bit boring doing this. Let's talk Aidan Morris. Sarah, as we said at the start of the game, another man of the match performance. No rumours, not that I've heard anyway.
No.
Yeah.
Let's keep it that way, thank you. But yeah, Morris is, and you know, I was a big fan of Morris last season as well, and you know, he started the season not dissimilar, but it's night and day in terms of he's upped his game, but he started last season very well also. But his energy and the amount of, I mean, he tracked, I think it was their left back or something, I can't remember, but he tracked him back all the way 40 yards or something, and then puts it out for a goal kick. I mean, it was just extraordinary. I think, and I know Jonathan spoke about it on X last night, he is such a good personality as well. He's got really good, the way he communicates, the way he talks about the game, the way he just comes across as a really grounded, really, really clever footballer. So yeah, very happy with Morris and Hackney as our team in the middle.
Yeah, and of course we're recording this just 24 hours before the transfer window closes, so we just don't know. Hackney to Everton, Craig, I'm hearing, possibly.
I've heard the same. I have heard the same, but we've took a stance, apparently, over the weekend that he's not for sale. Now, I think with the sale of Azaz, and with it being so late, it's a massive gamble if we let him go now with like a day to replace him. So I think what we're talking about, the good feeling around the club, I think if he went tomorrow, I think that would turn quite quickly with the start he's had and how much we rely on him. Yeah, I don't think we could afford to let him go.
Okay. Let's look at the players then, shall we? Yes, for the love of Boro, says Jonathan. Fair enough. First half in particular, Aidan Morris was outstanding. But I think Britain's performance over the course of the 90 was equally as good, if not better, than Aidan Morris's. Finally look like we've got a top quality right back. Do you agree, Jonathan?
Yeah, you know what? I crossed the board. So I think right wing back, Britton, Jones, Fry, Ayling, fantastic. Left wing back, Silvera, he took a right old tackle yesterday where the fella should have got sent off. But I liked Target when he came on. His through ball to Conway was great. We've talked, obviously, Morris and Hackney getting the plaudits. And Conway now, his work rate's being rewarded, and he's got a couple of goals in the last couple of games. I think the only question mark we've got is the 10s. Whittaker started every game, but who's alongside him has changed every game. So we're not quite there yet. But I like Naipan, however you say it. I thought he looked very assured and had a great touch when he came on. So, yeah, you pick out Britain, quite right, but you can pick out a lot of players at the minute. There's a real solidity and rigidity about the team, and maybe a little bit more flair from the 10s, a little bit more from then. But you know what? We're not far away from them clicking either, I don't think.
Yeah, brilliant. Sarah, this was about from Harry. Matt Target might just be the real deal. Silvera has been decent, but the golfing quality was so clear second half. Yeah, you on board with that?
It was not noticeable, actually. As much as I've been a fan of Silvera and what he's done so far this season, we did just look better balanced. I mean, he's a left footer for a start, which helps the cause, but his ball through for Conway's goal was exceptional. And that passage of play as well, including Nipan, just really, really top quality. And it's Premier League stuff. You know, those two players I mentioned, Nipan and Target, they're Premier League players. So we need that. And I think as much as I really wanted Silvera to do well, I think he was potentially a weak link as a defensive player. I definitely think Target looks the real deal for us.
Okay. I suppose the one way of looking at other game, Craig, in the negative way is that it could have been more, couldn't it? And the one reason it wasn't more is because you've got a certain player who can't make the right decision. Mr. Bergsørlin, who I've got friends who are Huddersfield Town fans, and I think they told you when you signed him what you were going to get with him. Sarah says his decision making is woeful. Passing when he should shoot, not passing when he should shoot, taking an extra touch when he should shoot. If he could do any of these better, he'd be a great player. He troubles teams and gets in good positions, but his end product, faceplant. He's greedy, Craig, isn't he?
He is. Yeah, he is. I mean, Saturday, I think if I remember right, I think twice we went through, and he could have played Morrison for a one-on-one on the keeper, and he took the defender on again. I think it was it Tanganga?
Tanganga.
Made like a double block, and then again a couple of minutes later he was through one-on-one, and but he does that. You know what you're going to get from him. So, but he's an outlet. you can give him the ball and he can get you up the pitch. He can take players on, and players are scared of him because he's got a bit of pace. He's strong, and he's got tricks. So although he has that negative that he can hold on to it a bit too long, and sometimes he doesn't make the right decision, I think the pluses outweigh the negatives with him, to be honest. Yeah, I think so.
We found a Bergsørlin fan. What the heck?
I know. Yeah. No place for greed, though, Jonathan, if you're going to go to the Premier League. I mean, there's so many instances yesterday. I think I counted 3 where he could have passed the ball and took the defender on, or as Sarah said, took an extra touch.
Yeah, it was frustrating, wasn't it, to watch him? He certainly could have put a couple of players in, and we should have been more comfortable with 1-0, given the chances we had, that's for sure. But, I'll go with Craig. Like, he was in the right spaces and creating problems, so you'll take that. But, yes, the end product should really have been there. And he said it on his own Insta account, in fairness. He said he should have been on the score sheet. He should have also said he could have put a couple of lads in to score too. So, he could do better. I think for Defo, and he knows it.
Okay. We've also got to shout out the Red Faction as well, who did this, of course, at the game yesterday. Johnny Howson, 8 years dedication for every one of us. Thank you, Johnny. Craig, you in there somewhere?
I'm not. No, I'm not. Well, because of the restraining order, I wasn't allowed at the game. It's 250 metres. So I had to watch it on TV.
Okay, fair enough. We're still waiting for Howson to come back on here. Come on, Johnny, if you're watching. We need you to get your plaudits on here then. Right then, 2 weeks off then. I mean, does the international break come just at the wrong time for Boro? Would you prefer to be going to Deepdale this week?
I'm not feeling either way about it, to be honest. I'm not thinking it's going to stop us in our tracks. I think it's not a bad thing. We've then got 2 weeks with, obviously, we're recording this before the transfer deadline day, of course, but it gives us 2 weeks to get some of the players in. We've had 2 or 3 come in the last week or so. We'll have hopefully another 1 or 2 in before the deadline. Gives them a chance to bed in. I'm either way not that fussed. I'm actually okay with this break, actually.
That's a good point. We mentioned Bergsørlin. We should mention the new lad come on, Sene, and I thought he did really, really well. I like the look of him as an impact player. So Conway did his 60-odd minutes like he normally does. Did really well, and then off he comes. And the new fella came on, and I liked him. I have to say, I like the look of him a lot.
Yeah, a lot of pace, very fast.
No. Right then, when we do come back, then obviously the Boro are off to Preston for the next fixture. But we've also got the derbies returning as well. We've got Millwall going to Charlton, and Pompey plays Southampton for the first time in 13 years. So it's got us talking about derbies. I mean, Craig, are you missing Sunderland in the division to have somebody to have a bit of local rivalry? I feel Boro are a little bit isolated this year in terms of rivalries.
Yeah, we are.
Coventry, of course.
Yeah. I mean, we had a pre-season friendly at Stockton. I thought that was exciting. But yeah, we haven't got anybody. Like Leeds have gone, Sunderland have gone. Obviously Newcastle have been up there for a few years. So we kind of. But do you know what? I don't mind it because it takes away that jeopardy. So like a derby game, you're always like, it's going to be chaos and anything can happen. Whereas it kind of takes that that element of chaos away from a game. So I'd take that at the minute because I just want a nice smooth journey. Let's win some 1-0s, get some points on the board. I don't want a derby at the minute.
Okay. It's got us asking, what is the biggest derby in the league then this season, Jonathan, for you? That would be...
Well, I had a look, I thought you got Ipswich Norwich, you got the Sheffield derby, you got the West Brom Birmingham, now they're back in the league. So I don't know, it's Charlton Millwall, is that a derby as well? They're not far away from each other.
Yeah, they hate each other, yeah.
Yeah, probably Sheffield though, given that they're both bottom and rubbish at the minute. That's going to be pretty fiery, isn't it? Who's the worst?
Well, that's Wrexham and Cardiff, Swansea. There's a bit of needle there, isn't there, between those, the Welsh clubs?
Yeah, there's a heck of a distance as well between them, isn't there? So I think you're closer to Hull than they are closer to each other. It's
I don't like Hull.
Okay. Carrick to Sheffield United, Sarah, is a rumour we've been hearing.
Okay.
Would you wish him well there? Do you think that would work?
I would always wish Carrick well, to be fair. I've got no bad feelings towards Carrick. But I'm not sure he's the right shout for that job, to be honest.
He's a second favourite behind Sean Dyche at the moment.
Okay, I didn't realise that. I mean, he will be picked up soon. I'm pretty sure about that. But yeah, I think it's quite funny because there's a lot of discussion about Carrick at the minute with regards to the differences we're seeing. And we're kind of discussing, was Carrick as good as we thought? But like Craig rightly says, we forget that first season, but we also had probably our better coaching team at that time as well. So yeah, Carrick needs to. I think he'll do well wherever he goes. But I'm surprised he's linked to Sheffield United. I don't think that will be the best match.
Has Sellers gone yet, or is he still hanging on?
He's still hanging on, but yeah, not by a thread. Yeah.
I'm not surprised. He got a right proper booing at the end of the game from his fans at the end of yesterday. I've not seen that before. When the players came forward, they applauded them, and when he came forward, they gave him a right barracking.
Yeah, he's This week then, as an extra bit of bonus, because some people have commented, can you do it for longer? We've got Where the Borough Walk extra time here. Jonathan, Sarah and Craig are going to discuss a decision that splits the fan base. Is the transfer policy of the club working? Do we just sell big players and actually not reinvest it for promotion? So stay tuned to listen to what Jonathan, Sarah and Craig's view on all that is. I will see you in a couple of days' time. Thanks so much for watching.
I think the whole thing is, what is the right way forward? Are we still a club that buys cheap and sells high? And do we agree with that, first of all? And is it going to get us promoted? I suppose that's the discussion we need to have.
Yeah, I got to say, I'm not an accountant, but I reckon FFP's got a big part to play in this. And I look at it quite simplistically. And look, come and shoot me down in the comments, I think, if I'm wrong with this. But there's something called Swiss Ramble or something like that. They're on Substack, and they have a little appraisal of Borough's finances. And so if you look at was it 24 was the last time I saw some numbers. So we've got like 30 million quid coming in, and we've got 45 million quid going out. So we start with a minus 15 million every season from what I can see, given our salaries and amortization and that sort of stuff. So you're on minus 15 before you start. So and the FFP rule is 39 million loss over 3 consecutive seasons. Well, 15 plus 15 plus 15 is 45. So we're always going to have to sell unless we can get the big bucks of the Premier League. So I get it. The rock and the hard place is the money's there for the taking if you can get to Premier League. But at the same time, we started at minus 15 anyway. So you're always going to have to sell the players. Except I might be totally wrong on this, but that's the way I see it. I have to say is when you start on minus 15 each season, you're going to have to sell some players. I don't see how we can do it a different way, to be honest with you.
No, absolutely. But I think it's more so, at what point do we take a little bit of a risk? Is now that moment? Because, we've started well, it's promising, the squad looks good, we look solid. Selling Hackney, if Hackney goes, which obviously we hope he doesn't, but if he did, that would be a massive blow to that. And I think it's just that whole policy of the Broth got in because he was good at identifying players. I think that's proven, whether whether you like Scott or not, he's proven that he can spot a talent. He can, he's picked up Latte from nowhere. He got Rodgers in. He can definitely pick these players. Rav Vandenberg was another one. Izaz, to be fair, I don't know if Izaz came under his leadership. I think so. Yeah. So Izaz for 2 million, turned him around for 12, 15, whatever it ended up being. So I think it's more, at what point do we go, okay, we need to hold on to some players and make the move up. And that's what the likes of Ipswich did. That's what the likes of Forest did. That's what the likes of Villa did. It's just that question, I think, that question mark of, are we going to actually take a bit of a risk and back the manager, which we appear to have done so far, to be honest, this season. I mean, we spent 20 million. I think we've actually made now, 20, must be 30 million with Coburn, Rav and Azaz, something like that.
Yeah, it's not far off. Yeah, I think we've covered the sales and plus a little. Obviously, you'll have kind of signing on fees and behind the scenes fees and stuff like that. But I think we've kind of covered our expenditure over the summer with those sales. But I always get the feel. I remember, was it last January when we had a really good run in November, December, and we came into January and we saw Matty Crooks went, Isaiah Jones went to Luton, Lath went to America, and there was another one as well. Oh, Clark went to Derby, and and then the season just absolutely went to pot. When we went on a run and we were by the end of it, we were scraping to get in the playoffs, which obviously didn't happen. And we were short at the back, and obviously we'd sold Clark. And and we had no experience. And it was just with Tommy Conway was the lone striker. We didn't have another number 9, and it was just like I felt like January we thought we took the money and basically said like whatever happens this season happens, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, maybe, and maybe some of that was that they didn't want to invest at that time because they didn't believe in the risk was worth it. I don't know, because if you do invest and we don't make it up, then you've got a problem the following season because you've got to balance it. That's the thing, isn't it? At what point do you go, right, we've got to go for it now? I think we've built a squad to get us to January. Then we reassess in January whether we go again and we bring more in. Hopefully we don't lose anybody, but we could lose. Say we keep up Hackney, we could lose him in January if we don't continue this form, I guess. But that is the issue. I mean, I think that Gibson always has the best interests of the club at heart. I know not everyone agrees with that. I know they all think he's a penny pincher and he's a cheap so-and-so and all the rest of it. But I really believe that he does the right things for the club. Whether that, yes, does it get us to the Premier League? It hasn't done for the last 70. Well, apart from that 1 year with Karanka, which was a disaster, of course. But he hasn't for the last sort of 20 years. But at the same time, it's not easy. It's not easy to do it. Like you said, 30 million coming in, 45 million going out. You've got to do stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think behind the scenes, the club's set up with, I know we get X amount of deficit wrote off per season because of our academy. Is it like a UEFA A?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that doesn't come into FFP either. So that if you do women's football investment and academy stuff, that doesn't come into play for that whole 39 million. So yeah.
So all the work that he's done, and obviously the Rockcliffe Hall. Is it it's Rockcliffe Hall, isn't it? Sorry.
For the training.
Yeah. And that's under the umbrella, isn't it? Of the.
I don't think so. I don't think that's correct anymore. It may have been at some point, but I think they've separated that out now.
Right.
I don't think
it used to be under Rockcliffe Holdings,
but we do have a big infrastructure cost, of course, with Rockcliffe as a training facility and all those kind of things.
Yeah,
but I think I'm sure we don't.
Yeah, I think we've done all right, when it comes to transfers, and I think we do okay under Gibson. I think January was rubbish. I grant you that. I thought that was the players who came in, the players that went out, it was unbalanced. But the writing was on the wall that last season anyway. The performances we put in demonstrated we had a good chance of not making it. That's for sure. Despite, if you go back this time last year, we'd had a good summer. We'd not got rid of any players. We'd brought a few players in. So. And I think this summer we can say the same. 6 weeks ago, everyone was up in arms that we're not doing anything. And now, what have we got on the stack? I wrote them down. Britain, Target, Jones, Kante, Nippon, Sene. And we've got Azaz, Lath back in January, Coburn, Rav, all going. So I think it's been a good summer. You know what? Funny enough, I was writing down who we transferred. I'd actually even forgotten already that we transferred out Rav. I'd forgotten about him already. We've done so well at the back. I'd forgotten about him already. So, I'm all right. I'm pretty good with Gibson, and I'm pretty good with where we are as a club at this moment in time. But I get it. It's, excuse my French, it's fucking hard to get out the division, and it's really hard to financially to be a football club. It's not a pretty model at all.
But coming back to the recruitment, I actually think we also brought in a lot of under-21 players as well. And I know there was a lot of noise at that time saying, "Oh, why are we bringing in all these kids? We haven't got the first team players." That was before we bought anyone, of course. But we recruited really well for our under-21s as well. So it feels like the club are really thinking about the future. We've signed, what's his name? Malunda from...
I forgot about it. The fella who was over in America, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we paid for him 6 million or something.
Yeah, good.
And he looks a player. Obviously, I didn't know about him until we bought him. But having seen some of the things I've seen, he looks a good player. He's coming in January. I don't know. I think there's a longer term plan about this than there has felt necessarily the last 3 years. Because even under Carrick in the first season, it was underpinned with loan signings, and it was always going to be a problem. And we haven't done that. Yes, we've got a couple of loans, but I don't feel like the squad's underpinned by them. I feel like they're extras. So I think I think we've done well. I think we've gone about it quietly, despite the noise. There's been there's been nothing really from the club actually about the policy, which has wound people up at times. But now they're, as we always say, if you're winning games, no one wants to hear from the club. They're fine with it. But I do think I think this has been a tremendous summer for us, and hopefully it continues on that way in terms of how we perform. But I'm really pleased with the club right now.
No.
Yeah, I think what you were saying, Jonathan, as well earlier about people, about comments and posts saying Gibson was tight and Gibson was this. I think it becomes a thing, doesn't it, as though people are just impatient and they want every signings in now and they want big money signings, and it can't really work like that. And because we hadn't signed, obviously, I know the Edwards, getting appointing Edwards in the summer took a while. So we hadn't made any signings and people started getting restless, and then people started voicing and posting on social media about Gibson. He doesn't want to go. Well, that's what I heard a lot. He doesn't want to go up. It's like, all right then, okay. But you kind of, the transfer window, it's like 2 months long. So you're not going to sign everyone in the first week. Other players have to move. It's like they say, don't they? Like in the Premier League, when a big signing goes, it's like a playing card that goes, and then another one, like dominoes, not playing cards. And it takes 1 or 2 to go to move some money somewhere so they can move. And so
people get very attached to their emotional opinion and not their logical opinion. And I'll be blunt, I don't know what's going on in the club. I see what's the people at the Gazette write. I see a little bit on Twitter, but you got to rely on the facts for this kind of stuff. And you're right, is that them players that came in, that just didn't happen overnight. They've been working behind the scenes on these players for quite some time. And all that time on social media where people are saying, "Where's our signings? Nothing's happening." Gibson's abandoned the club. There's no, what's Kieran Scott doing, etc. And they must be looking at that, knowing exactly what they're doing, and making their calls and their visits and their meetings with players' agents to get these people through the door at Boro. So, yeah, there's a lot of emotional opinion out there, which I don't mind, because that's part of being a football fan. But but you got to consider the logical side of it, and the logical side is there probably was a lot going on behind the scenes at that moment in time. But come back in a couple of weeks' time and we lose a few games, then I'll moan like hell as well. So don't worry. We got more.
I was going to say that, like with the transfer, it seems like, Sarah, when you were saying about Carrick's first team, we were underpinned with loan signings. It seems like when Kieran Scott came in, he said, "Oh, we've got a process, what we're going to follow, like a plan." But it seems like every summer we're doing a rebuild. It's like we can't make a long-term plan with the shape of the team like this or like that. And I know obviously the Carrick situation didn't go to plan, but
that feels different now, don't you think? Buying Kante.
Yeah, I mean the young, they've got lots of potential. I mean, I know. Yeah, I mean, you can't go and buy experienced, expensive pros,
but I don't think but we haven't made the spine of the team loan signings. If you think about the core of the team are our players. The loan signings are additionals. I think we would have. We've got targeting, but there's no question we're going to go back for I can't even say his name. Harfison, the guy from Columbus.
Oh yeah,
we're going to go back for him. We just couldn't get that over the line because they didn't want to sell him before the season ended. That seems to be not dead. They will work. We need a left back, but we've brought targeting just as a temporary solution till we get that. I feel like we are actually thinking about the longer term and not wanting to go back to what we did with Carrick. Like I say, I just think that the key players in our team under Carrick's first season were all loans. The key players were all. The key players now are not. Hackney, Morris, Jones, Britton, the goalkeeper. Whether the goalkeeper's strong enough is another matter. But in Sol we've got a good goalkeeper. Conway up front. The 10s we've brought in new players. I think this is different. I think yes, you're right. That has been the problem for 3 years, but I feel like we are building now something that we just need to add every summer rather than rebuild.
Yeah, I think that's a fair shout as well. I know Scott recognised that after that first Carrick season with the loans who came in, and he said we can't do that again because if they'd have succeeded, of course it was a different, it would have been a different picture, but they didn't, and so you're left with a big gap that you got to fill. And you're right. I think the core of our team are our players, and I like that a lot. I have to say, and the fact that they play week in, week out. So the only question mark I've got, and it's not really about transfers, is injuries. If there's a couple of lads go out, or if we lose a couple of games, it'll be interesting to see how we cope with those scenarios in the future, which are bound to happen at some point over the next 42 games. But as for transfers, I'm with you, Sarah. I think we're doing good. I have to say. I don't see nothing too bad about this summer at all. I'm pleased. In fact, I'm dead chuffed. And that Nippon fellow, I have to say, I like the look of him a lot.
Yeah, he's very good.
Okay. Right, I think we're done. Do we say goodbye now and say cheers for watching, everyone? And we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time, eh?
I dare someone to stay on and just for when Mark comes back. Sit there with you.
Okay. All right. See you later, guys.
Bye.
Right,
Bye-bye.
catch you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.